Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking maybe we go ahead and take a look. So the other use case here would be, what our recommendation is, which would be the remaining credit trigger. When this option is selected, it is actually individual partner settings that are going to determine when that auto rebilling takes place. So again, if we're looking at Monica's Closet, we have the quick link to the invoicing and billing tab. So on this page, you have all of your settings related to the credit cards. So as mentioned before, you can set so that if a partner's credit card fails, that they are automatically paused. And then that helps to, again, prevent you from selling leads to a client that doesn't have a valid form of payment on file with you. The next thing that we're going to look at here is the remaining credit trigger. So there's a default value that we can set, but you can edit or adjust each individual partner's credit trigger. What you would typically, our clients will typically do is bring them in on some standard, every time it's a $500, or every time they cross over below $100, automatically bill the credit card $500, and then adjust that trigger based off of the daily or weekly spend of an individual partner, so you can adjust it up to account for larger lead buyers. You'll see some other options in here that we're going to jump into another system to take a look at. It has the credit card enabled, and you'll see the next setting here, which is the real-time real bill amount. So if we hop over to our lead system, you'll see in addition to that low credit trigger, we have the real-time rebill amount. So this is where you can set that fixed rebill amount. In this system here, every time the partner falls below $50, the credit card is billed $500. And so just simply switching this or adjusting this value allows you then to bill the same amount, very similar to how Google bills, or at least used to bill their invoice for their Google ads. But basically the action of crossing over this $50 threshold triggers this transaction.
Let's say I wanted to put a cap, though. I want to have the auto rebill on, all right, and charge them $500, but I don't want to keep charging them a bunch of times in a single month. Is there a cap or a maximum monthly spend I can set?
Oh, you called it exactly, Brad.
Yeah.
Right there. So that's exactly what this does to help control. In your example here, I don't want this partner said I can't spend more than $2,000 a month for my lead budget. You can control that here, which then will limit the amount of auto rebills for that partner. You'll also see in this system, we had touched on some things like monthly reoccurring charges. And that's where we can schedule these types of things to charge a fixed amount on the first of the month or on a specific day of the week. And that would be for subscription-based pricing. So while we're here, if we take a look at this system, which has a Braintree profile set up, there's options for you as an admin to add a credit card right in the UI. And then we'll also take a look. The partners can add it directly in their system as well. Once that credit card is added, your system does not store any of your company's credit card or your partner's credit card info. That is where the CIM integration with the respective gateway comes into play. They store the credit card information, and then we API the amount with the partner and the CIM ID so that this keeps your system PCI compliant because your system does not store the credit card. So once that credit card is uploaded, you have full flexibility of how and when to charge this partner. whether it is you doing it manually in the partner admin, whether it is automatically done according to rebill settings, and I would certainly encourage you to do that to the extent that you can. Or if you just want to let your partners log into their account, put down their credit card, and fund proactively whenever they want, that can all be then set up so you can service the most amount of lead buyers in your vertical. All right. Where do you want to go next, Brett?
So yeah, we looked at credit cards, we looked at the act of billing. What happens after? Let's look at invoices.
So if you don't use, or your partners don't use credit cards, or if you're dealing with, let's say, resellers or lead gen companies that you invoice, those settings can also be set up. If we go back to the invoicing and billing tab, you'll notice there are two top menu tabs. In this case, you would want to credit limit either a specific amount or no limit, allowing that partner to go negative. And then you can build one-off invoice reports here, determine what fields are in this, and this is more of that line item invoice that would be generated here. However, if you're looking to automate this flow, we do have the invoice manager, and it gives you a lot of options to automate the generation of an invoice and send it out to this invoice recipient email address here. So many of our clients, especially getting started, will put their own account receivable email in here, send all of the automatically generated invoices to one person who can then review and forward them onto the client. And then we have other clients that send that directly to their lead buyer automatically through this setting here, and then allow those partners to, for example, log in and pay with a credit card or send a check or a wire and then fund the account through that manual transaction. So for this invoice manager, you can set the date range. Really, you're setting it up for the very first invoice. After that, the next invoice automatically starts with the first lead sale after the last invoice period. So obviously you can customize the subject and body. You can apply overall discounts. But then when we get into the automation of it, if it is enabled, you can then choose weekly or monthly as far as when that invoice is sent, whether to include payments or credits and refunds from that period. And then all invoices here will be generated automatically. They will filter down. But again, this allows you from an automation standpoint to aggregate all of your invoice buyers, send them to the appropriate accounts receivable person, and get that into your flow so that you can get paid. Yeah, so don't typically do it on the fly, but since there were leads sold by this partner or to this partner, we can simply just click that generate invoice, and then the PDF that you can have automatically emailed is sent. It looks something like this. We have options to include your logo if you have that in the lead system. And then this is the invoice. It is an aggregate of all the leads sold at the per price. So if there were 10 leads sold at $2 a piece, that would be all aggregated into the line item in this invoice. Now, once that invoice is generated, you'll see the status is not paid. And so your partners can go and log in to fund the account. Or let's say they sent you a wire. You can simply click the Make Payment button. You'll see that the status has been changed to paid. And if we go to that Transactions tab, that invoice was paid automatically, giving them that credit limit now once that payment's been made. So you can get your billing into an efficient process that, again, can be scaled through automation.
Great. Yep. And so it can be automated, it can be manually run. Both of those can be set up.